Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Zunique and I thought we'd have a little play today. So I'm doing a little spread that I've sort of adapted here from the opening of the key. Now I'll just backtrack a little bit. The opening of the key is a Golden Dawn system, which is really convoluted, and it's in 4 parts, but this is just the first part. So the full opening of the key, you can find it in Paul Foster Casey's The Tarot book from 2006, I do believe, 2006. And I'm not going to go too much into this actually, because one, I don't know if you can still get this book, and the opening of the key is huge. It's got, let me show you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 pages there, and they're in 4 parts which are called operations. So this is the first operation, but this is my adapted version of that. I've stuck to it quite closely, but I have adapted it a little bit. So if you want the full version, if you can't find this book, then our dear friend Benabel Wen has gone through it in her Holistic Tarot book. Okay, and you can find that, I think, around the 600 page mark, 610, around there. Anyway, so let's just go through this spread. So the first thing we do is we choose a significator, someone to represent ourselves. And in this case, I have chosen the King of Wands because my primary question is to do with business. And to my mind, the King of Wands encapsulates everything that I think I need to embrace in order to be successful in the business that I want to partake in, if you like. I'm not very good with the words, but I think you know what I mean. So yeah, the King of Wands. So the King of Wands, I've chosen to use this deck because it's got keywords on it. For those of you that aren't really au fait with the tarot, I think this might help if you're at the beginning stages. So that's why I've used this deck and not any other version of the Rider-Waite-Smith, because not everybody that watches YouTube knows all this. We have beginners as well as seasoned readers, but this would help both, I think. I think this would be really useful. So, yeah, we choose a significator, and I've chosen the King of Wands. It says natural born leader, vision, entrepreneur and honour. So entrepreneur really encapsulates that business sort of aspect of the question. This is not a real reading, by the way. I'm not asking a real reading. I would do that privately, obviously, in my own way. But I think this is a good spread to use. So that's why I'm using that as an example. Another reason for choosing the King of Wands, it's the second decan of Sagittarius. And if you don't know what decans are, then I have a whole playlist of my decan videos. And it's to do with astrology and when these cards are in effect, what part of the year they're in effect. So the second decan of Sagittarius is around my birthday, so that's another good reason. And why else? These cards have yes, no and maybes on them, so I thought that might be useful as well as an indication of the way that the spread will go. So I've chosen the King of Wands. Then there's other reasons that I chose the King of Wands, because I'm heavily into the Nameless One Tarot, and this is the grimoire that goes with it. And it gives sigils. So let's find the King of Wands so I can show you. In here they're called branches. And the court cards are all masks, which is quite, yeah, here we are, King of Wands, that was right on him. Yeah, they're all masks for a reason, goes into the guidebook, which I'm not going to go into in this video because this video is about this spread. But I just wanted to explain another reason why I chose the King of Wands. And it's a sigil, and it's part of a sigil that I actually already have had for many years tattooed on one of my ankles. I have a tattoo that has the arrow and the S. It's not quite the same as that. It goes like that and then it goes like that. So S for the beginning of my name, and also it's soul, the sun, and all that openness. And then Tia is like the straightforward arrow, knowing the direction we want to go in. And Sagittarius has an arrow as one of its sigils, doesn't it? One of its signs. And so, yeah, this might be another nice way of working with this spread is actually to use a sigil and do some magical working around it. And this grimoire is brilliant for associations. So we could use some of the associations in the manifestation work, maybe. So we have affirmation. I see and bring out the best and trust and truest potential of all things, people and situations, which is something that really speaks to me. And then we have animals, we have plants, the crystals, the colours and the candles. So all those associations we could bring into the practice. And we have something here which is wonderful. It says, and this is the essence really of this card, to wander and explore. It is adventure I seek. Truth is waiting to be found by all but the meek. My course twists and turns, but I know the way. The only path I follow is the one that I lay. It's very affirmative, isn't it? Okay, we have, apart from, you know, the upright meanings and the reversed meanings that we usually get in any tarot book, we also get the myth. So here we have the Greek myth, and I'm really into Greek myth at the moment, which I've talked about in other videos. And it talks here about the centaurs and Chiron, and how Chiron helped, was a helper, and goes all into the backstory there. Chiron utilised his strength for the betterment of others, mastering many arts and then passing on his wisdom for the benefit of all. He lived a sensible, virtuous and compassionate life. So yeah, it's to me the King of Wands is the ideal card to use as my significator in this spread. So here we have the King of Wands. Now what we do, we shuffle our deck, putting our significator back in the pack. Let's get it all the right way. Yeah. So we put it back in the pack. We shuffle these cards with that significator in there, and then we divide it into 4 piles. Okay. And we divide it in a significant way as well. It's not just, it's I'll show you. So we divide it into 4. So we take card pile 1 and card pile 2. So we have 1 and 2. Then from the first pile we make the second pile, and then from this pile we make the 4th pile. So now we have 4 piles, very uneven piles. And these piles also have significance, and they are to do with Hebrew myth, because this all stems back to the Golden Dawn and Hebrewism. And Benabel, well, let's find Benabel's book actually. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I write in my books, yes I do. So these are the 4 piles, and they're all about IHVH, okay, IHVH, and this is all to do with, as I said before, Hebrew myth, and those letters make up a name, and it's the name that can't be said in Hebrew wisdom, and it's the one. And there's a good line in this Paul Foster Case book that explains it in a sentence really. We say therefore, I don't know if you can see this, we say therefore, bring it down. that IHVH is a verbal symbol for the conscious energy that brings all things and creatures into existence. So it's sort of, you could see it as a godlike or a goddess-like energy. However, that's what the 4 piles signify. They also signify the suits. And that's associated with those letters. Okay. So if we look at Venerable's worm here, the I is the archetypal world. So this is the archetypal world, fire, and so it's wands. This is the creative world, fluid, water, so cups. This is the formative world, which is air, so swords. And then this is the material world, so that's earth and pentacles. Now, Paul Foster Case uses an example of bringing a chair into being. So we start off, I think I was zoomed in for that, but yeah, fire, water, air, earth, if you didn't see what I was doing there. Okay. So if we see the example that Paul Foster Case gives of a chair, so first of all, we're in the world of the will, aren't we? We're in fire, the wands. So this is the creative potential. This is where we're thinking, I'm so tired of standing up, I need to sit down. Okay, so that's the will, that's the force, that's what we want to sit down. So then if we go into the water, then the imagination takes over. And the imagination thinks, well, how can I bring this idea? What can I do to alleviate standing? I can sit, okay. So then we go into the mental realm, and then we start to make informed thoughts of how we could design a chair, or the ideal chair, that would bring relief to standing, if you like. You know, how can we mentally make that a reality? So maybe we will sketch down ideas, maybe we'll look at chairs from the past and bring our own ideas into that of how we could maybe improve it into something that's really comfortable. And then in the Earth suit, Pentacles suit, is the material world, where we actually bring that into physical form. So that's the way that was explained in Paul Foster Case's book. So what we do now, we've shuffled the cards, just go backwards a bit. We've chose our significator, we've put it in the pack, we've shuffled the cards, and we've laid the cards out. So card 1 to there, and then pile 2 to there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to find out where our significator is, where this King of Wands has landed within these piles. So now we're going to look and find our King of Wands. So where are you, Mr. King of Wands? Where would you be? So it's not in that first pile, not in the second pile. It must be in the last pile. This is quite a big one. There it is. Okay, so it's in the suit of Pentacles, it's in the suit of Earth, or the pile of Earth. So anyway, we don't need these other piles now, because we know we're in the material world. So this question now is all to do with the material world. So this is the main focus of the question. So we might not have been aware where that main focus was. We might have been thinking, you know, mentally how we can do this. Let's just find the King of Wands again. Okay. All right, so we've taken the pile that the King of Wands was in, and now what we're going to do is a 3-card spread. The 3-card spread is going to be the present, the past, and the future. So one we're all quite familiar with. If we've done any tarot spreads, we've normally done that one, past, present, future. So that's what we're going to do here. Whoop. Okay, so we shuffle this pile, bearing in mind that we're talking about the material world. This is the overall focus of the reading. Is what do we know? What do we need to know? What do we need to be aware of in the material world as far as a business idea is concerned? That's what we want to know. So you can shuffle and split the deck any way you like. First card will be the present. We'll put that in the middle. That's a good card, isn't it? The Six of Wands. The past. And the future. What I like about this deck actually is it also has yes and no's and maybes on them. And if I look at that, the first thing I see is 1, 2, 3 yeses and a maybe. And the maybe was in the past. So there's a little bit of a telling. Can I get all this on camera? Hold on. So you can see. Here we go. All right. So that's the reading that we'll take in answer to the question. So we've brought it all down from the large picture, if you like, of 78 cards, and we've condensed it down. Brilliant. Okay, so we'll quickly just read the keywords on here, because this isn't, as I said, an actual reading. This is just an example of the way I've adapted the spread. So in the past, we had indecision. We had choices that were it was difficult to make. There was a truce, a stalemate, and blocked emotions, according to this card. It's the first decan of Libra. So we didn't quite know which direction to take in business. We got our feet firmly on the ground, which was good, because this is, as I said, this is the earth, overall earth element, overall pentacles, steady element energy. And so we've got our feet on the ground here. It's great. However, it looks like we're stuck. We're going nowhere, and that's because we were unable to decide where to go with the business, maybe. In the present situation, it looks like we've made a decision and we've now got on a horse. So we're travelling in the right direction, actually, if you look at it. We're not travelling back that way, we're actually travelling towards a future. Public recognition, victory, progress and self-confidence. And the King of Wands is full of self-confidence, really is. And then in the future, this is the seed of the cup suit. This is our dreams, the thing we want to seed and birth into the world. And that's love, compassion, creativity. But it's overwhelming emotion. So we need to be a little bit careful, really, that we don't get overly emotional about things. And that we let things flow. And it'll all be fine. What else do I see? So we have wands, we have swords, and we have wands, and we have cups. So we don't actually have pentacles as a card, although we do have pentacles because it is the earth element overall. So we've got all of the elements are here, all represented. So it's a really nice balanced energy. We've got some fire with Leo. We've got some water, the Ace of Cups. And we're really being offered an opportunity here. If you actually look at directions, because normally in the Ace of Cups we see the hand coming from the other side. But interestingly enough here, this hand is coming towards our Six of Wands. It's being offered to the Six of Wands. Isn't that wonderful? So yeah, there's an example of my little adaptation of the opening of the key first operation, and I hope you enjoyed that, and maybe give it a go. See how you get on. You could use this as a love reading, you could use it any sort of reading, really. I mean, I just chose a business work type reading, you know, if somebody was thinking about setting up their own business. Yeah, so that's my little video. Anyway, it's late now, So I'm going to leave and wish you all bon nuit, good night, and have a lovely evening wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being here, friends, and bye now. Bye.